Right, so I've started off with this text as being my text. And it's, if I just show you where I got that from, because it might be something that, as a last-ditch attempt to drop in a couple of extra things, you might want to remember that you can do this. Some of you might have already used it, but some might not have done. So I've just gone onto the online book. I've gone to the last page on the online book in Unit 8, which is the unit for healthy living. And you remember that there's this thing over here, which is called a grade studio, which talks you through, if I make that a little bit bigger, it talks you through what you might want to put into your work. So if I just go down there, it says about getting a grade C, higher than a grade C, and to really impress the examiner and aim for an A or A star grade. And if I go into this down here, which isn't quite captured, but that there says page resources, if I click into it, all I've done is downloaded the written example number 2, which I don't know if anyone's used those writing examples. You've got this one here matches to that one there matches to this, and this one here matches to that. So I've downloaded it, and it ends up looking like this. Okay, so this is the text. On the bottom of that text, if I scroll down, it's got like a commentary on it as well, which says why it's worthy of better than the C grade. So it tells you variety of time expressions, adverbs, après quelque temps, souvent, tous les jours, sainement, all of those things that are in there. And it might be that you read things like that and think, I might just drop that into my work. So I'm not asking you to redraft work, but there is another way that you can add little bits and pieces. Now, you know I hate Google Translate, right? But on this occasion, as a quick time saver, let's just open up a different thing here. So I'm going to open up a translate google.com, and I've copied the text that's in there. It's in French currently to get a broad idea, pretty good idea, because Google Translate does translate quite well, but the problem is if you use it all of the time, you just don't know anything. It's like saying that you can work out complex functions, but you only ever use a calculator. You don't ever know where that really comes from. So if I just type that in here, so I've copied and pasted it in, I'm going to click that it's in English, and then that's going to tell me what that text means. So if you wanted some quick ideas of extra things to improve the quality of your writing, then download those 3 texts, Google Translate them, find out what they mean, and just pick the odd thing out if you want some ideas. But anyway, that's not the reason why I was showing you that text, right? So the reason is because I'm going to show you how to memorize it. So if you look here, I want to memorize all of this. Now, if you've got, let's say, for the sake of argument, 400 words in your writing that you need to memorize for your piece of speaking. 400 words, how many cue card words are you allowed? 40. Why did I choose 400? Nice and easy, right? 400 divided by 40 is 10. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to select around about 10 words for each cue card word. I'm not going to, if I get to 2 words before the end of a sentence, I'm not going to say, oh, I can only have 10. I'm going to choose the 12 just to do the whole sentence. So you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to there. So I'm just going to do up to there. So it's just up to that sentence. Je ne suis pas en forme parce que je ne fais pas assez d'exercice. So I'm not healthy because I don't do enough exercise. So I've just copied that. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to use Textivate here to begin to memorize it. So I've got Textivate. And actually Textivate, so if I log in as you, log in, and the login's there on the wall. So username is Perrins MFL1. Not in there for you. The password for you is this one down here in that box, student. What have I done? Student 8172, click. And then it's going to sign me in. Now actually for Textivate, I'm actually going to use a few more words than just that 10. So I'll come back to that. So let's pretend that's my answer to one of the questions. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back out into Textivate. I'm just going to paste it in there, and there's my text. Right? If I click Textivate, the ones I think, this has changed a little bit as well. So we've got tiles, horizontal, multi-choice, million, new, next word, gap fill, football, 3 in a row, space. And I'm hoping that space going to be a game, or is space the one where it's going to take out things? No, that's not what we want, is it? Letters? Oh, there you go. Right, so we've got letters. I'm going to take out the vowels. And all of a sudden I've got my text, it just takes out those vowels, right? And that's a good way to memorize it, because if you basically just print the whole thing, which I think you can, if you select in there, no, you can't do that. No, I can't do that, right? Okay, so I've got to press print. That's not ideal. But anyway, you could print it, and it prints it out for you, and then you just try to read it as it is. The other way you can do that is if I just click the back button here, and I choose we've either got no consonants, which will take out different ones, 50-50, initials, that's another good one. So let's go to our initials. You can see that it's taking out different things here. Right, that's a good way to memorize. So you're just trying to go through this text and read it out. So, je ne suis pas en forme parce que je ne fais pas assez d'exercice. Let's be trying to memorize our text like that. The kind of holy grail to this kind of activity, like I mentioned last week, is, so if I go back down here and it just says no letters. So the absolute pinnacle is you can take the whole thing out and you don't need anything at all. If you can do that just with the spaces, then you're going to do well. Right, so that's Textivate. The others are useful activities, but I would say that that's the most useful activity. The other website I was going to show you was this one, which is Memorize Now. So I can never remember if it's a Z, Memorize, or an S on memorizenow.com. Is it a Z? Right, if it's an S, it won't let me into the site, and I think you're right. There you go. Right, okay, so Z, like so. Right, then this website comes up instead. Now, if I click in there and I go back to my text that I had here, this is where I just need my 10 words. You remember that we just came up to the end of that sentence there. And what I do is Control-C to copy, go back in here, I'm going to paste in my sentence. And I've missed out the J for some reason. So, je ne suis pas en forme parce que je ne fais pas assez d'exercice. Well, then I choose a word from there that's going to help me remember it. So I might say, right, I'm going to choose that word there. So I'm going to copy form, I'm going to paste it into this box here, and I'm going to add it, and you'll see that the word form has come up here. I'm going to go back into my text, I'm going to count the next 10 words. Alors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I used more last time, so I'm going to use fewer this time. So you've got those ones, go back in here, click copy and paste that in there and choose a word. Alors, je pense que c'est mon plus grand problème. Je pense, maybe. I'm going to, or maybe I'll just use the first word. Alors. Copy that one, paste it in that box, click add, and I'll do one more. Go back here. We've got j'ai essayé de manger sainement, mais après quelque temps. It's going to be about to the end of there, isn't it? So if I use that, copy that, go back in here, paste it in here, and use a word. I'm going to say essayer on this occasion. Copy that, paste it into that box, and add. Now, if I carry on doing that with the rest of my text, then I'm going to end up with I'm going to end up with 40 words on the right-hand side. And the choice is you either do 40 words and the whole thing, or you do 8 words and you just break it down into each of your paragraphs and just save different ones. I'm going to show you how to save it. It tells you how to save it up here, and it will save as a web page, right? Now, what then happens is that you've got a choice between here where you memorize it, and if I put memorize there, it's just going to, we've got the words there, and it just gives me the letters, which is a little bit like Textivate. Right, so words and letters. So you could use that to help you memorize it. But more importantly, and here's where I think it gets quite clever, is that I'm going to use the flashcard instead. The flashcard is like your cue card. If you look here, I've got these words down here and it says form. So I'm going to think to myself, right, what was that off the cue card? Je pense que je suis en bonne forme. I can't remember what it is. So I'm going to show the answer. Je ne suis pas en forme parce que je right. So I got that wrong. So I click wrong. Alors, I'm going to pretend that I get that one. I can't remember what it actually says. Alors, je fais beaucoup d'exercices or whatever. Show the answer. Alors, je pense que c'est mon plus grand problème. So I think it's my biggest problem. Well, I'm going to say that with that one I've got it right, and then I'm going to show the answer to this one, say that I've got that one right as well, and then you'll see in the right hand side that it's got a cross next to the ones that I've said I got wrong, and a tick in the ones that I said I got right. And I think that that's a really, really good way of preparing yourself for your cue card, right? So Textivate and Memorize Now. Do you do those two things together? I don't think you can go wrong. Right. Excellent. Any questions that you want me to put on here that are going to go onto the screencast. Anything that I didn't explain very well. Personne? What does personne mean? No one? Excellent.